What is the uncanny valley? And yeah, that's a valid question. But I think you should be asking something different. Where did it come from? Because the uncanny valley isn't just some random term people threw around. It had a specific origin story, and honestly, to me personally, it's pretty fascinating. So let's go back to the 1970s. A Japanese roboticist named Musashi Hiromori is sitting there studying robots and human reactions. He picks up on something that nobody had really put into words before. The closer something gets to looking human without actually being human, the more unsettling it becomes. And that observation, that changed everything. So what he ended up doing was creating this graph. On one axis, you got how human something looks, and on the other axis, you got how much we like it, how much affinity we feel towards it. And what he found was this dip, this valley, where things that are almost human but slightly off actually trigger this intense discomfort in us. Henceforth, the uncanny valley. It's the gap between familiar enough to recognize as human, but different enough that something feels deeply wrong. Now, think about it for a second. You've probably felt this before without even realizing it. You're watching a movie, and something about a character just feels off. They look human, they move human, but something in your brain is screaming something isn't right. Or maybe you've seen one of these hyper-realistic AI-generated faces and it felt that same creeping discomfort. And the reason it hits so hard is because our brains are wired to read faces and bodies. We've been doing it our whole lives. Reading micro-expressions, body language, the way someone's eyes move when they're talking. So when something mimics all of that, but doesn't quite nail it, our brain goes into overdrive, trying to figure out what's wrong. It's like a glitch in your perception. You can't look away, but you also don't want to look at it. Some scientists believe that this goes even deeper than just discomfort. There's a theory that this reaction is actually a survival instinct. Something that looks almost human but isn't could signal disease, danger, or deception. So your brain immediately flags it. It's not just weird, it's a warning. So let's talk about some real world examples, because this isn't just a theory that lives on paper. You've seen the uncanny valley in action wherever you knew it or not. Yeah, I remember the Polar Express movie. When it came out in 2004, people couldn't stop talking about how the characters look unsettling. And it wasn't because of the animation was bad. Technically, it was impressive for the time. I mean, compared to the other movies. It was because the characters were too human. You know, they moved like humans, they were shaped like humans, but something in their eyes were empty, flat. Yeah, get what I mean? And that was enough to make the audience deeply uncomfortable. Another example is, something similar happened with a game called LA Noire. The developers used this cutting-edge facial capture technology to make their characters look as realistic as possible, and it almost worked too well. Players reported feeling uneasy during conversations because their faces were just slightly too perfect, too stiff in the wrong places. And then there's AI-generated faces. We all know them. If you ever scrolled through a website like "This person does not exist," you know exactly what I'm talking about. At first glance, everything looks fine. But the longer you stare, the more your brain starts picking up on things. An ear that doesn't quite match, eyes that are slightly misaligned, hair that doesn't make sense. It's subtle, but it's enough. And here's the thing, the uncanny valley matters more than ever. We are living in an era where the line between real and artificial is getting blurred day by day. So the discomfort you feel, that nagging sense that something is off, hold on to it. Because in a world where artificial intelligence that can replicate human down to the way they blink, that instinct might be one of the most important tools you have. Hiro identified something in the 1970s that he couldn't have fully predicted would have mattered this much. He was thinking about robots, and now we're dealing with something far more complex. The uncanny valley isn't just a concept for scientists and animators anymore. It's something that every single one of us is going to have to navigate at one point. You might even be doing so now. So the next time something feels off, a face, maybe a voice, or a video, trust that feeling, because your brain is trying to tell you something, and it's probably right. That's the uncanny valley. And now you know not just what it is, but where it comes from, why it exists, and why it's more relevant today than it ever has been before. I am the Uncanny Valley, and I am signing out. Ooh,